Alright guys, I'm going to start off this video by giving a little disclaimer. I'm going to be very critical of the recent Digimon Con, and I'm not really feeling the hyper extremism that exists whenever anybody gives any sort of opinion. So I'm not saying that it was terrible and they should drop Digimon Con, nor am I expecting them to cater their Digimon Cons to my particular interests, but I do want to express opinions and general sentiments that exist both from me and my fans who are watching the Digimon Con with me, and you guys can let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Every perspective is welcome, and as per the usual, I will be considering them. Also, do note that I will be showcasing random Digimon Survive gameplay because Bandai Namco seems to think that copyright claiming fair use content is totally fine, and YouTube's broken system allows for them to do that. So I can't use any relevant footage here, but that's not the type of video this is anyway, so just listen into my voice and hear what I'm saying. Anyways, the Digimon Con 2023, which was just finished minutes before I started scripting this video and sort of collecting my opinions, was honestly, in my opinion, underwhelming, and that's especially as someone who is interested in Digimon games and the anime. The first basically hour was spent with some opening music, which is fine, and a lengthy interview with two voice actresses from Digimon Frontier and the other from Digimon Ghost Game. The Frontier one was the actress that voices Naruto, and while I obviously have respect for their talent, I feel like an event that's supposed to act as a major Digimon news hub for the year shouldn't include these very lengthy interviews that would likely much be better situated for their own separate videos. They then spent about 15 minutes showcasing the same exact trailer for Digimon World Next Order that was also revealed months back for the Switch and PC ports, and then they spend a good 10 minutes talking about how to raise your Digimon in a 6-year-old game that likely has plenty of YouTube content already available for it. If this remake was from a Digimon game that came out before YouTube, I'd kind of understand, but this is a 2016 title. There's going to be plenty of resources available, and no one's really going to remember what they learned in this guide next week. That was it for Digimon game news, by the way. We didn't get anything like we got last year with a Q&A where a lot of people were disappointed by it, but still received information about Digimon Survive and the upcoming Digimon story title. And we even got information as to their thoughts regarding porting certain games over, like we know they're probably never going to port any 3DS games to the Switch, for example. And just in general, we got a lot of insight there. Sure, an hour-long Q&A isn't exactly something people are going to go crazy over, but I genuinely think that last year's Digimon Con was a lot better than this year's in terms of that content. I came out a lot more positive. They spent about an hour in total on TCG card battles, which, to be honest, I feel like is just another filler segment. And again, no disrespect to the people playing, but I feel like this type of content is better situated for a specific TCG promotion and not as a means to lengthen the con which by the way was about 4 hours long instead of 6. And if they were trying to cut down time, I feel like this and the voice actor segment would have been a lot more sensical to cut 2 hours out of the direct rather than all of the gaming content, essentially. I feel like what they could have done was show the highlights from these different segments, then uploaded the full-length interview and card battles in separate videos on their channel, and that could have been something that most people would appreciate. If you wanted to watch the full-length card battles, you had the option. If you wanted to watch the interview, you had the option, but you got snippets of it during the direct. I think that would have been the best way to do it. And don't get me wrong, this isn't because I'm not a TCG buff. I think a lot of people who play the TCG didn't really want to sit through an entire battle and would rather just receive the latest news about what's going on with the TCG rather than just watch people play. It's like if Pokemon had a direct and just spent time making us watch people play VGC battles. The big 25th anniversary project, which don't get me wrong, this could appeal to a certain demographic within the Digimon community, especially those that are invested in the Vital bracelets, was also kind of unclear. They basically said that they would be having this new Digimon Seekers thing that would include trailers, which would be live action, a novel, and an expansion of sorts to the Vital bracelets, but this was, again, kind of unclear and a bit of a confusing aspect of the con itself, and a lot of us in the comments were kind of scratching our heads as to what exactly this meant, but from what I could tell, it's not an anime nor a video game either. They then spent a lot of time on the Vital bracelets, which is totally fine, they're doing pretty well, and then they ended off with the merch. Again, totally fine, makes sense. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is that there's an entire international market for Digimon and monster taming games like it, and I feel like whether it's Digimon or Bandai or whoever, they're really dropping the ball on capitalizing on it. I understand that the Vital bracelets and their TCGs are doing really well in Japan, and focusing on their home country is obviously a safe move, but there is an entire international market, especially when it comes to these games, that is just untapped and sort of starved when it comes to stuff like this. Yes, we got a Digimon game in 2022 and we're getting a port this year, and I'm not saying that they have to release yearly games or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that they need to take their international fans more seriously and start actually attempting to market towards us and trying to push out their games and expand in this market. People have not been happy with Pokemon games for a while, and monster taming games have strived in part because of this, and now is the perfect time for Digimon to put together something that would appeal to Pokemon fans and really capitalize on that aspect. They don't even really have to do anything crazy either. The recent Digimon story titles, like Cyber Sleuth or Hacker's Memory, are the exact type of games that they need to be pushing for in the West especially, and sure, these games could use maybe less dialogue and a little more freedom when it comes to exploration, but ultimately if they perfect their Digimon story formula and sort of have these options to decide whether or not you want to play on an easier, more casual mode or a more hardcore grindy mode, they could really grab this market that Pokemon's left behind, mostly that being adult Pokemon fans. Digimon is the most well-known monster taming franchise outside of Pokemon, and while I'm not saying that I think Digimon would beat or even rival Pokemon, I think that the fact that a visual novel tactical RPG was still able to sell 500,000 copies despite having next to no marketing in the West and it being something that, let's be honest, is extraordinarily niche. Imagine the potential of a monster taming game that has these nostalgic designs and a very dedicated fan base that's been established for decades. Now, people have been using this argument because a YouTuber said it in a video once, but yes, Digimon is not a franchise that's built on video games like Pokemon, but that does not take away from the fact that there's a huge video game market that they're not really tapping into, and the fact that they don't seem to take video games seriously, at least enough to have even like a Q&A like they had last year, shows that there's not really a dedication to that international fan base. Even little things like subtitles not being present throughout the whole stream and kind of like coming in and coming out, and the sheer amount of Japanese only content that was present at the con really shows that there just isn't a want to satisfy or even take the opinions of the international audience seriously. I really want to see the Digimon franchise do well, but it's like they're consistently working against what most fans outside of Japan are really looking forward to, and I, as someone who is interested in the video games and to a lesser extent the anime, just feel like this was lacking in a lot of meaningful content. That being said, those are just my opinions. You can agree or disagree, that's totally fine. You can let me know in the comments below. They also put out a survey that you could fill out if you would like to express your opinions. I'll leave that linked below as well. I think if it is something that you didn't enjoy, or you did enjoy, it's definitely important to get your voice heard, because if we don't say anything, they don't know that we want change or potentially don't want change. So definitely check it out. And that's pretty much it for the video. Peace out.